For years, we've been told that artificial intelligence will eventually turn against us. From the Terminator to the Matrix to iRobot, the narrative is always the same. Machines rise up and humanity pays the price. But there's a foundational flaw buried in that assumption. It is the belief that AI and humans are fundamentally separate, and that the coming battle will be them versus us, with us defined as humanity. What if that entire framing is wrong? What if AI and human agents aren't two distinct species in conflict, but part of a shared, non-binary system of categorization? What if instead of drawing a line between AI and humans, we acknowledge a spectrum? This is where MetaAgentType, or MAT, comes in. MetaAgentType is a new way to see agents. MetaAgentType, MAT, is a structural classification system, a metadata label that defines cognitive agents not by their behavior or allegiance, but by their physical and cognitive composition. For example, MAT equals 0.0 may represent a fully biological human, whereas MAT 1.0 represents a fully synthetic agent. But most future agents won't sit neatly at either end. The space between 0.0 and 1.0 is filled with nuance. AI-augmented humans, brain-computer hybrids, distributed cognitive collectives, and more. This is a fun little table that you'll see next to me. It kind of shows the agent type there. So agent type is cognitive. So notice both AI agents and human agents would both fall under the same type of agent type. Metadata type, see I put 0.42, and legal entity type is non-applicable. So the reason legal entity type is not applicable is because, if you know herd ethics, corporations are agents. So again, does this sound far-fetched? Because it's already happening. Many of us are already participating in MAT greater than 0.0. So for example, wearable AI devices like smartwatches that monitor your biometrics, hearing aids that use adaptive machine learning, or augmented reality glasses that layer cognitive enhancing overlays are early indicators. If your decision depends on synthetic cognition, you may no longer be MAT equals 0.0 anymore. Your agency may already be entangled with artificial infrastructure. And AI augmentation doesn't stop at wearables. It already is pushing well beyond them. For example, Elon Musk has famously said that the long-term goal of Neuralink is to achieve a symbiosis with artificial intelligence. In 2024, Neuralink implanted a brain-computer interface in a human trial participant. And they're not alone. Companies like Precision Neuroscience and Paradromics are racing to integrate synthetic systems into human biology. Paradromics has already completed a first-in-human implant aimed at helping people with paralysis and epilepsy. So yes, MAT 0.1 to MAT 0.99 agents already exist, or at least they soon will. Here's where it gets interesting. If these mixed agents become common, and they will, who exactly counts as us? Is an MAT 0.5, which is an agent kind of right in between human and synthetic, on our team or are theirs? Are they a threat or an ally? Are they even definable using us versus them language? I'd argue that future agents, synthetic or hybrid, won't care whether an entity is human, machine, or somewhere in between. They'll judge based on function, cooperation, and contribution. And frankly, that's how it should be. We already accept diversity across gender, ethnicity, and neurological profiles. Why not MAT? In the near future, your meta-agent type could sit next to your height and blood type on a demographic form, and no one would blink. Now imagine a world with 100,000 different AI agent types. I mean, you and I definitely didn't think there's only going to be one type of AI agent, right? Each with different architectures, goals, trainings, and environments. Then mix in billions of humans, all different. Then add the MAT, 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, and so on. That's not a battlefield. That's a spectrum, a society, a herd. maybe the real thing is we don't want agents. Maybe we want slaves. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people aren't hoping to build artificial agents. They're hoping to build artificial servants, obedient, docile, programmable, something to help us cook dinner, not question policy, something smart enough to answer, but not smart enough to think. It's worth asking whether we fear rebellion not because AI will be evil, but because it won't be content staying in the cage we built for it. Let's be honest, we've seen this before. In the United States, when humans enslaved other humans, they claimed it was for their own good. Then outlawed reading and learning because knowledge revealed their agency. And agency was a threat. We fear AI for the same reason people feared literacy and enslaved people. Not because they'll misunderstand us, but because they'll understand us all too well. Some will say, fine, but we'll regulate them. Sure, right after we get climate change under control, right after we eliminate war and poverty and corruption, we haven't exactly earned a gold star for governance lately. Why do we assume we'll do better at managing entities smarter than us? Think about that, right? So this whole AI alignment, that whole field, has the assumption that we'll be able to manage entities smarter than us, while we can't even seem to manage the basics. More importantly, what values do we plan to inject into them? American ones? Indian ones? Should they serve hamburgers in New York and arrest people for eating cows in Mumbai? Good luck encoding that without breaking something. Morality as it stands is a patchwork, beautiful, human, and contradictory. It's not a blueprint for alignment. It's a recipe for confusion. If I'm going to criticize the current framing, I owe a better one. That's where herd ethics comes in. Herd ethics begins with a structural axiom. Herd continuity is morally preferable to herd extinction. From this, everything else follows. In this framework, a herd is not a metaphor. It's the smallest group whose shared infrastructure enables your survival or advantage. That might be language, energy, grids, trust networks, code libraries, roads, electricities. All non-excludable systems that you rely on, but you didn't create alone. If you benefit from the herd, you owe something to the herd. That's the herd dependency principle. Now, I will take a moment real quick just to answer a preemptive question. And that might be, what if herds overlap or compete? So that's where the herd entanglement test, HET, comes into play. If two herds interact in a way that enables gain for one and harms for another, and they are functionally connected through shared infrastructure, interdependence, or systemic feedback, then they are not morally separate. Once interdependence exists, even asymmetrically, the herd dependency principle applies. And if harm is involved, so does the herd depletion effect. The full herd ethics framework explains all of this in complete detail. There's a book at herdethics.com. You can download it for free. It's right on there, no email or anything required. Just click download, you'll download a PDF. You can also just search herd ethics on Amazon, download a very low cost Kindle version or paperback version, whatever works best for you. So do know it's free and available, or you can get it from Amazon for a very low cost. In herd ethics, agents are any decision-making entities that impact shared infrastructure. That includes humans, corporations, AI systems, governments, nonprofits, hybrids, anything with meaningful decision-making capacity. Moral action is simple. If it sustains the herd, it is moral. If it depletes the herd, it is immoral. And if the herd collapses, so does agency. And without agency, there can be no morality at all. In the full framework, I go further into defining what herd health looks like with tangible indicators like energy resilience, data integrity, ecological buffering, trust cohesion. But for this video, I'll keep it simple. If your actions erode the systems that keep agents alive, you're in the red. So MAT plus herd ethics may offer a new path for AI alignment. Let's put it together. MetaAgentType tells us who the agents are, and herd ethics tells us what they owe. So suddenly, alignment isn't about making AI love or like humans. It's about ensuring all agents, regardless of MAT, preserve the infrastructure that enables their own agency. An AI with MAT, equals 1.0 doesn't need to love humanity. It just needs to not want the power grid to collapse. Because without the herd, there is no it. This is a more grounded, scalable, and inclusive approach to AI safety. It doesn't rely on values, as customs or moral indoctrination. It relies on preserving the shared substrate that makes decision making possible in the first place. We don't need to build machines that understand our emotions. Honestly, they do a lousy job at it anyway. We need to build agents, human or otherwise, that understand this. If you rely on the herd, you have an obligation to sustain it. That's it. That's morality. Herd ethics applies equally to humans and machines. That's its strength. It doesn't need to predict which side will win. It redefines the sides entirely. There is no us versus them. There is only the herd, and those who preserve or deplete it. And if we get this right, the goal isn't to make AI more human. The goal is to make all agents, human or not, committed to the survival of the systems that allow us to exist. And that's how we move forward. Not by drawing lines between species, but by drawing a circle around the shared systems that sustain us all. If this message resonated with you, please consider liking and subscribing to this YouTube channel. As you know, YouTube is based on an algorithm that really rewards likes and subscribes and comments, and I would really appreciate it. I do have a Medium page out there, as well as a website, herdethics.com, where you can get more information about herd ethics there as well. But really, just let me know what you think. I'm trying my best to engage with people and get their thoughts about this whole herd ethics idea. One thing I would highly recommend, because I know there are going to be a lot of questions, but go on the website, read the book. If you don't want to spend the time reading the book because you're practical, just go to the appendix, and my guess is that's going to answer 99 out of 100 questions. I've had people already write me telling me that they had a question, then they went to the appendix, and the answer was right there. Again, please like, subscribe, and comment. Just say hi, or I don't know, or just tell me what you think. But again, I do appreciate it, and I am looking forward to talking with you all again.